Because I figure this way, if we record it, then I can ask you the question for the confusion that I'm having, and I
Okay.
can just jump in really quick and do the formulas. So for your first graph, you're just using that one little box on the right.
That one little box on the right. Yeah.
How is that information changing on your calculations?
So what I have it done right is this, instead of doing a V lookup, I'm doing an H lookup.
Okay.
The H lookup, I added this here, but the H lookup is going from, what is it? H lookup so the H lookup goes like down instead of across, right? So I just did, I linked it to the input cell, which is that D3.
Yeah.
And I locked that. Then I locked it to a summary of the financial statements. So here, more or less. And then I locked that down.
Okay.
All right. And then I did sales, which is the first topic. So then I just did sales.
Which is going to be 2 down.
2 down. Yeah. 1, 2. And then false. So that's how I got this number. And then for accounts receivable, I just counted down the number. Accounts receivable is 3.
Yeah. So then you go up and change it to the 3 up on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for you're not using the income statement with that. You're using the balance sheet. So that's the difference with the first graph. The first graph is the balance sheet. So you're using it's cash, accounts receivable, inventory, and then total fixed assets.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's pretty simple. So it's just like, and then when you change the year, because you have it locked to that input, it just goes by the year, and it just wants the first 3 years. So it's just 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Follow me there?
So when you're doing your H lookup on that,
I'm sorry.
You've got it linked to the year. So when you go in and change the year, it's changing the H lookup value for the column.
Yeah, right. So exactly. So I'm changing which column I'm looking
for. Year, and then it's going to count the line horizontally, right?
Yeah. Exactly, right?
Confused with that. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. So H lookup is when it counts the rows down, and then V lookup is when it counts the columns across. So that's the difference.
Okay.
So the first 2 graphs you use the H. So we're going down.
Okay.
All right. So that's the first one.
Because I tried doing my H lookups, and I kept getting errors, and I was so mad. I could not figure out why, and I was counting it wrong.
Yeah. Okay. That would explain it. So, all right. So for this next one, this is what took me so long to figure out, was this dynamic sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I recommend doing, I'm trying to make sure I got this one figured out. Okay. So I created more or less 2 of these, just trying to figure out how to play with it on one sheet. So I just copied the income statement.
Okay.
And then when I moved it over, I created a space where I can input rows on the side, input row numbers on the side.
Okay.
And you'll see why for that in just a minute. Okay. So
because I've been over that part where when you're doing your dynamic, and instead of referring line by line, you're going to refer to the cell itself.
Yeah, the cell, because it'll copy down for you.
Okay.
But, and that's primarily just for this dynamic.
Okay.
So what you do here is this is what took me forever to figure out is this is what gets the right calculation, so I'm not worried if it's if not using complex functions. But so I did an H lookup again. I linked this box initially to the input for the year back here. So I linked this first. So H lookup this number, locked it. So whatever number is going to be in there.
Yeah.
Mine is the calculations table. And then I came over here and I highlighted, and this is what I was getting wrong, is I was highlighting just the sales and going down, and I was forgetting to highlight the years up here. So I highlighted everything. As you see, B3.
Yeah.
all the way down. So I highlighted everything,
Okay.
locked that down, and then I went to the row at A3. Boom, and I linked it to that first row. Okay. So this number here correlates to this box here.
See,
So I'm looking for
I'm so
the
confused.
year in the very first box. Like I'm looking for the number. I'm looking for a number that's going to be in this row. That's going to come up in my input data. Does that make sense?
Not really.
Okay.
Like
So-
honestly, I'm kind of lost.
Okay.
So
Okay.
where are you pulling that table from on your calculator?
This table, this table
You're
is
scrolling over left and right on your page, right? Because it's kind of choppy. That's what I'm trying to look at.
okay. Yeah, I'm scrolling over left and right. Okay. So what I did is these financial statements that we were first given.
Yeah.
I copied the income statement, and I created a new sheet that I entitled calculations, and I put income sheet right here.
So right in
Okay.
the very beginning of it, right there at the front.
Yeah, right here in the front. And then I put the rows here. Okay. And then to make my dynamic, so I wouldn't like have to keep like going back in between sheets. I wanted my income statement, like the original income like data right in front of me. So, and then I just more or less copied just these first two columns and moved them here to create space for the 5 dynamics that will change. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the dynamics that will change. This is just the basic information plus the rows that I'm using to make the dynamics graph. Okay. So what I did first, the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to get the year that's going to change with my input data in the dashboard.
And that's where you got it from your dashboard, is you added that to your dashboard.
Yeah. So the very first thing I had to do was I had to do an HLOOKUP. Okay, so the HLOOKUP, and then at the first cell I wanted to do, and I can even probably just go through this again, just right down here. So I wanted to do an HLOOKUP, and then I went to the dashboard, and I linked it to this page, locked that down.
Gotcha.
And then we wanted to do, and then they wanted, okay, because now it wants to know, okay, so where are they looking for it from?
Yep.
And they're looking for it from here.
Okay.
Make sure you get the year number because I didn't do that the first time. Okay.
Okay. And you're not locking down the row in column A, the row number. You're just doing line item over to the year.
I am locking this down. I'm locking down the calculations here.
No, I know you're locking it down. I'm saying on the very left how you have the row.
Exactly. And then I'm not locking this down, right?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Very good. And then I go down to false. Oh, oops, that's not what I wanted. False. Okay, so now I have 2016.
Yep.
From there, you drag down the 21 whatever, right? So I can just drag this down, and it'll pull up what I'm supposed to. Oh, missed one. Okay,
so it's basically all the columns then, right?
Yeah, just basically I want to have all this more or less all this information just in case.
Okay.
Now, what I struggled with doing was how do I get the next number? How do I get 2015 to pull up when I put up that input number? That's where I really got stuck. Okay, so I was making it too complicated. So what I did and what I ended up doing was I just copied this calculation.
Yep.
Oh, oops. I
Then pasted it.
And then I pasted it. Yep. Then I just pasted it here. Oh no. Okay. And then, but what I did is I minus 1. So no matter what, as this number changes, it's always going to subtract 1.
So it's always going to subtract 1 column all the way down.
Yeah. And then so what I did from here is because you can't copy that over, you have to because if I copied this over, it would just always refer back to this number. So I had to do this number minus 1 equals this, and then I copied it over. I guess I'll go over all the way.
Gotcha.
Okay. So now you'll see down here when I change this here to 17,
it changes all 5 years.
It changes all 5 years, and that's what I couldn't figure out how to do. That's what took me forever. So once I did that, then what I do is I did another H lookup. I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, so I did H lookup Q3. Okay, yeah, just trying to make sure you got all this right down right.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so then what I did was H look up here, and I locked this number down. Lock it. Oh wait, did I lock that?
Yeah, you locked it before. I looked at it when you first got it up there last time. Yeah.
So I locked this, and then this time I left out that table array.
Yeah, I'm sure he needed a pick-me-up of that.
Okay.
Okay, and I locked that, and then I just went here to the row.
And that's where you're referring to the row, to the cell.
I'm referring to the row. And why did this not work the way I wanted it to? What's the difference here? Three.
Oh. You just visiting friends?
Why did that not work the way I wanted it to?
Yeah.
I think it said A3, right?
Yeah, maybe that just didn't go. That's not what I wanted.
So did you have to include the entire array, even with the numbers on the left, when you did 2016 to get the next H lookup?
Hang on, I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, is it this one again? I have to do that. This one again, the top number. Locked in it. There you go. You have to get that top number. That's right. That's what I didn't do. That's right. Because I didn't have this top row, I got this mixed up again. Because I didn't have this top row, it couldn't find what year I was looking for. Does that make sense? Because it knew I had 2016, but what cell number was it looking for? What row number? Sorry. That's what I did wrong.
Okay.
Because the H lookup was looking for the number 2016, and I was underneath 2016. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. So you have to include the. Yeah. That makes sense.
And then and then I just copied all the way down, and as you can see here, this correlates to this number all the way down.
Gotcha. And then
makes sense. Okay.
You can drag that formula all the way over too, right?
Yeah. Now you can't copy it over. You have to do each H lookup separately.
Okay.
Like that, but then it gets really simple because they need to see the same table array. Make sure that you're getting the year.
Okay.
And then didn't lock that. And then okay. So, and then you do it for the next two, right? Because if you try to drag this over, because it's looking for cell 15, it doesn't work.
Okay.
It doesn't work. You have to create each individual cell,
Gotcha.
like each individual row. But you'll see as you change it, that whole thing will shift. Say all these numbers changed.
Wow.
Okay. Like it's not overly complicated, but it just takes like several different steps to get to this point. Okay?
Well, and you know what? I'll be completely honest with you, man. There's absolutely no way I could have gotten to that point. I was trying everything, trying to figure out how to get that sequence in the years to subtract correctly. I was on YouTube. I was everywhere trying to get some help on how to figure that out. And I'm like, well, I hate to bother him, but Zach, you're my last hope.
No, honestly, you know what? I emailed the teacher last night because I was stuck, and he emailed me back at like 10:45,
Yeah.
It pretty much said the exact same thing it says in the notes. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what I've done, and that's not helping. And then I went back and looked in the questions and comments section, and
Yeah.
he's the one that mentioned the whole -1 thing. He mentions you subtract 1 from each of the values, and that's how you get it to subtract. And it took me a minute just to figure this out, like how to get it to work. But
Okay.
he's the one that pointed me in that direction. And once I did, then it was just playing around with these H lookups to
Gotcha.
figure out how to get it. So I didn't figure it out on my own either. All right.
So then, just really quick, because that makes perfect sense now. I'll let you go so that you can finish yours on time. So the ones up on the right, the cash, accounts receivable, inventory, fixed assets, right? How do you get that to change according to the year?
Okay. So
Or
what you're
do-
doing,
Or do you even bother with that right there?
I totally do. So what happens here is this is linked. This first cell, this H lookup is linked to this cell. This
So
cell is
everything's linked to the year cell.
Everything is linked to the year cell. Yep. Everything's linked here. So this is linked. So it's look up this year, the financial statement, the balance sheet, the financial statement's balance sheet, and row 2 in the balance sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
So-
you're referencing your array as the entire balance sheet.
Yes. So and because I highlighted this top year number, it's looking for the year with the on the H lookup. It's looking for, okay, it's taking, it's going again horizontally. So it's looking, okay, where is this, that input cell? So, okay, so when I put in 2016, it's looking for 2016, and then
it will count down from there.
1 row, 2 row. That's how it's doing it. So you only do it for those first 3, then you do it, and then for the second graph here, I'll show you how to do that second graph really quick too.
Yeah.
Since I know how to do that. So the second graph, this one's simple, like more simple than the dynamics input sheet. I mean, income statement. So what you do is I just linked this 5th cell. I guess technically it's the 6th. The 6th cell to my dashboard input. So I just, okay, whatever this equals, this equals. All right, pretty simple. No function.
So I'm confused. Whatever that equals.
Whatever the input cell here, whatever the dashboard equals. So when this says 2016, that other cell says that. So when I change it to 2017, this says 2017. So all I did was this cell equals that cell. Make sense?
That cell equals the cell.
Yeah. It's this cell equals this. Oh, come on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's so when you're doing this right now, there's a delay in the video. So that's why I was kind of confused. So you're linking 2017. Yeah, because there's a big delay in the video because it's still processing. So on the calculation sheet that you're on right now, where you've got sales contribution margins and net income, you're just linking the information. So you just plugged in the information. You're not linking any cells other than 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, right?
Well, here, this is what I did. I'm not putting those in input directly. So what I did is I just linked that dashboard cell. Okay.
Yep.
And then what I did was for this one, I took this number -1. And I took that function and I copied that over.
And that's where you got your top line on that bottom graph right there.
On this bottom graph, that's right. So when I changed the dashboard, so I had it at 2017 was my first number. Now I can change it down to 2015, and it will change 2015, 2000. You follow me here?
Yeah, and that's linking the 5 years together then.
Linking the 5 years together then. That's right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, man.
Okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and then I was just going to show you, and then what I did here, how did I do this? Okay, Now this is how I did it. And this was really simple too, just to show you how this works.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I realized is that when I change the year input on the dashboard, it changes the dynamic sheet. Okay. Does that make you recognize that? Okay. So all I did there cells for this, like this sales number here. I know that, 2015, when it's the lead number, when it's the number that I input, it's always going to be here at this number. So I just then I just link this number calculations. Then I just link the next number. This number, if sales was here, suck. Okay, if I had sales here, then I put here equals
that number.
Sales, this number. And so look, yeah, that number is the same. And then did I drag that? And then I think I just dragged it across. Yeah, see, and then I just dragged it across. Really simple.
Okay.
Like not complex. And then I just went down to contribution margins, and then I did the same thing. So that second graph was really easy to make. And then I just picked the graph that I needed, and I set that up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I'm like I said, man, yes, it does, because I'm going to go back and be able to watch the video and hopefully figure this out within the next hour and 12 minutes. But yeah, it does. It makes sense. So
this, and then the last thing I'll just kind of cover on this video then with you.
yeah.
Oh, suck. Is I'm working on my last graph here for that table. And I'm trying to figure out how to, so I kind of did the same thing. I did this cell equals the dashboard input, this input here, and then -1, this number -1 equals, the year I'm looking for, that 5 years total. And then I copied it across. And then I have to link this box in here somehow. So I'm trying to figure that out. That's my next big thing.
Cool, man. And how did you, so you just, never mind. I'll figure that out.
Okay.
You just have to name the column with all of the sales, everything that comes from the next graph.
From the income statement. Yeah.
Income statement. Okay. And that's all the values.
Those are all the values, right? So I can change that at any point. So
gotcha.
And then so this needs to change, and then I need to be able to look up according to this graph number, like when I put in a number here, the past 5 years of a percentage. So it should be like, look up this year's dashboard. I don't know. I got to figure this out. I'm still playing with this one.
No, I think you've got me to the point to where I think I'm going to be able to actually struggle my way through this and try to get it submitted on time. So, dude, I appreciate it. You have no idea, man. I just, what a day, what a day, what a day, what a day. Cool.
All right, dude.
Hey, man. Again, thank you so much, dude.
No, it's not a problem.
Yeah. So, do you just want to text me the?
I'll just email you that link again.
It just takes a second. Again. Okay, cool.
Oh my
gosh! Wow, incredible.
Once you have, like, since you have that, it goes pretty quick. Once you get, like, okay, building the list, you just build the 2 lists, and then you just plug in the graph stuff. So most of that heavy lifting we've kind of figured out. So not too bad.
Okay, awesome, dude. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
All right, thanks again. We'll catch you later, man.
See you, dude. Later.
See ya.